Like seeming like it'd be a complete labor of love type of situation doing all covers, right?
Yeah, I've wanted to do this for over 10 years. I actually had this song selection done well before Mike Varney from Shrapnel called me. And then it was just a matter of fine-tuning the song list and deciding who was the people who were going to get involved.
Right.
It was originally supposed to be with me and Frankie Benelli, but he lives in L.A., I live in Las Vegas. For scheduling reasons, we decided to go with a whole fresh batch of people.
Right, right. Was that back, obviously, before the Quiet Riot thing folded up, then, obviously?
Which was?
The idea to do the solo record?
Yeah, it was an idea that had been 6 years ago.
Right.
In the 80s, I wanted to do like a solo record of Motown stuff, done heavier. And then me and Frankie had talked, we were on the road, we spent a lot of time together, and we talked about doing a cover album of sort of glam rock English tunes, or English glam rock tunes.
Right.
And like most of the songs that are on my original list made it to the record.
Wow.
And the first song that was on the list is Red Light Mama, Red Hot by Humble Pie, and it's sort of the centerpiece of the album. It turned out unbelievable.
Right. Did you have any fear when you went and did this particular record? Because Quiet Riot, fairly or unfairly, kind of was known for having done famous covers. You know, your biggest hits?
No. I'll tell you why. So much has been written about Quiet Riot in that regard, and so much has been said about me in a negative way throughout the years, that it's like water off a duck's back. I really you get numb. You get to a point where you either you get real bitter and angry, which I'm not. I could care less.
Right.
It's like the dog howling at the moon. The moon could care less, and the dog looks like an idiot. You know? So I just do what I want to do. You know, when I when I go on to KNEC.com or I go to Blabbermouth and I see people make these comments about Kevin Dubrow this and bald and all that stuff, I just think if they come up with a good insult that's funny, I say good for you. Otherwise, it makes no difference to me. If it makes me happy, I certainly can't sit and have my criteria of what I do or don't do by these people who are the naysayers.
Right.
You can't live your life that way.
Right.
Well, you need to. I mean, let's put it this way: if there's a critical point that's valid, I'll think about it for the next album. You know.
Right.
If it's the thing about the cover tunes, I mean, the Beatles and the Stones and Van Halen all did cover tunes and were very, very well known for it. Quiet Riot only did 2. Van Halen did a number more than that.
Right.
The Beatles and the Stones did a shitload of Chuck Berry songs. So we just got, that was the thing that people focused on, and I don't really think about it too much.
Right.
If people like the record, which people who are into this kind of music or will like it, I think, because we didn't do a karaoke record. We made it sounds different than the original written versions. Obviously, I sing it. We tried to update the arrangements. The playing is amazing. Jeff Martin, who played drums on it, just went nuts. He's fucking great. And he captured the spirit of the time. The guitar player is a chameleon. This is something that we couldn't have done with Quiet Riot. Frankie could have done it. But the problem with the guitar playing in Quiet Riot, and I love Carlos' guitar playing, I love Carlos, but Carlos is very much like me. He's a one-trick pony. And that's a problem. I mean, so what I did was I can't sing like anything but Kevin Dubrow. And Carlos Cavazo can only basically do one kind of style that's like Carlos, which works well for Quiet Riot. But an album of 70s cover songs, you needed somebody who could do a lot of different kind of styles. And being that me and Carlos are similar in that way that we can only do one kind of a thing, if Quiet Riot would have done it, it would have just sounded like a Quiet Riot record.
Right.
So I got guys who have more depth in their stylistically. They're not so stylized, the Quiet Riot guys. So there's more varied, more variance to the playing.
Right.
So since I am very much, like I said, like Carlos, I can only play in one style. It's the Kevin style.
Right. Right.
And that's not a put down of Carlos, because me and him share that in common.
You certainly have one of the, I would say, one of the most identifiable voices. Some people that you could say, well, okay, they could have been in this band or in that band or in another.
Yeah,
band.
when you hear me on the radio.
Exactly. Yeah.
On some of the tracks, the album was produced by myself and Michael Lardy from Great White,
Right.
who is just great. He is just so talented and has made this amazingly pleasurable. Keep in mind, the album is done at Shrapnel. They didn't offer a big budget. It was done all at home studios. Mm-hmm. It sounds like it was a $100,000 budget sonically. That's because of Michael Lardy. And a lot of times when I was cutting vocals, he'd say, "You're going too far to that Quiet Riot area." He says, "Let's back it off." The real gritty and the real kind of thing. I don't know how you're going to print that noise, but so like on one song in particular, Black Sheep of the Family, I try to do my best to do what my interpretation of Freddie Mercury is, which is, it doesn't sound anything like Freddie Mercury, needless to say, but that's the closest I can go in that direction. So we tried to give it some depth.
Right.
And I credit that with Michael Lardy a lot.
This is interesting that Varney would put this out too, especially on that particular label, because he's got the Magna Carta thing, and he's got oh god, no, I can't even think of the label. But anyway,
Blues Bureau.
Yeah, okay, there you go. And he's got a lot of things that are very, very like specialized type of labels and stuff like that, and he's very much a purist. So,
well, this is something he's wanted to do something with me for years, because I've known him since we met in the Rainbow parking lot in 1977.
Wow.
And he was in a band called the Nuns. And I never saw his band play, but he saw Quiet Riot with Randy Rhoads, and he totally understood what we were trying to do, that we were trying to be like a hybrid of the Sweet and Queen. And he got it. He came out to me, and we were talking that night. And so, I mean, ever since then, we've been friends. And, you know, sometimes one of the reasons I became a dick in the early 80s was, first of all, I was doing too much drugs. And second of all, a lot of people that said I was a piece of shit in the 70s were suddenly saying, being the backhander, the people were the glad handers,
right,
saying you're great, and I never bought into that shit. But Mike Varney I knew before the success, so we always stayed on level ground. So when he approached me about this, it turns out that he had already done two of them, done one with Pat Travers, and done one with Leslie West, more of a blues-oriented one. I guess he's doing one with Michael Schenker right now, and L.A. Guns is going to do one. But when he knows me, I'm the kind of guy that doesn't want to wait. Let's do it right now. He called me, and 2 weeks later, we were in the studio.
Right.
So, and mine's done.
Wow. Wow. That's cool. Is this something that is going to stay on record, or are you going to actually be able to tour it?
Well, keeping in mind that I'm planning on having a second album out this year. This is sort of, knowing that the covers it was a blast for me to do, but any artist's lifeblood is his original material, and I am a songwriter. I mean, Mental Health had one cover tune on it, Come On Feel the Noise. Everything else I wrote. Pretty much, wrote or co-wrote.
Right.
And I've always written the majority of the material. I want to do an album of original material that I have a few things written for that I'm hoping to go in the studio with my friend Glenn Hughes. And Glenn's going to play bass and co-produce, and we're going to write songs for the album when he gets back from his European tour. We're going to get together for a few weeks and try to woodshed and just really get a bunch of songs written.
Wow.
And I'm hoping to go in the studio with Glenn. We've come to sort of an agreement on that. And so I'll have two albums out this year: the cover tune album and the album hopefully with Glenn. And as far as touring goes, strangely enough, I've been offered 3 different tours, and I think one of the reasons I've been offered 3 tours and Quiet Riot wasn't offered any big tours for a long time is because Quiet Riot was more expensive because you had to split the money 4 ways.
Right.
And with me, I can make more money individually, but I'm the only one that has to get paid. And what I would do a thing like using another band as a band I would tour with. For example, let's say that there's one offer that's on the table with 3 heavy metal singers from the 80s using one common backing band.
Right.
Each guy does 45 to 50 minutes. And doing a package like that. There's another band that's good friends of mine from the 80s that I've talked to about doing dates with them, and they do a show, and I use them as my band, and I sing with them. So I don't have to pay another band, a solo band. It's just too expensive to start forming a new band. So because I think it's a little easier to deal with one person than to deal with an entity that requires so much more money, this has been a lot of opportunities coming to me so early in the year. But I'm the only one in Vegas of the rock band guys that's constantly out on the town. You go out any given weekend, you'll see me.
Wow.
Me and Vince.
Wow. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I saw the picture of you and Vince. So you guys are tight still?
Not tight, but we're good friends. I mean, I run into Vince at a lot of the same events, and Vince has always been great to me. I think, I don't know what, the reports I hear about Vince's incidents, I've never seen them happen when I've been around. I find it fascinating, but Vince is always great to me. We always, I see him, we give a big hug, talk for about 15 minutes, and then start drinking,
That's cool. And by the end of the night, you're both beating up the same hooker.
Never. But by the end of the night, we're both talking about somebody in our former bands that we hate.
Yeah.
So we commiserate, when you can find somebody that you have in common.
Yeah. And is it always bass player?
It seems to be,
Oh, God. It's
those 2 missing strings just fuck them all up. It's like, having a small penis.
Is it really hard? Was it really hard holding that whole thing together?
For me?
Yeah.
The only thing that kept me around that time was Frankie Banelli, because I love him. Let's put it this way: you're there a lot because it's financial reasons.
Right.
I'm 48, and I'm not going to be going into brain surgery anytime soon. and I don't want to be working at the 7 fucking 11.